Okay, so a few months ago, I posted my theory about what Ezra Bridger and Grand Admiral Thrawn have been up to since the end of Rebels, and how it ties into the ever-thriving new Filoniverse, as a lot of people call it. If you haven't yet, check out the video. I have it linked right here. And while you're at it, give me a follow and a like. I'd love to have your subscription. Now, regarding this theory, I've had a lot of positive remarks, but oddly enough, the most pushback I've received is my controversial view of where the Rebels Epilogue fits into the timeline. In my theory, I detailed a lot of cool tie-ins involving the Mandalorian, Rebels, Thrawn Ascendancy, and so forth. The entire core of this theory revolves around the Rebels Epilogue, taking place shortly after Ahsoka's live-action debut in The Mandalorian Season 2. Dave Filoni has expressed his love for the character Gandalf in Lord of the Rings several times, even runs many comparisons between him and Rebels Ahsoka. For those who don't know, Gandalf is the pillar of wisdom for our heroes in Lord of the Rings, and in many similar ways, the same way that Ahsoka is to the Ghost crew in Rebels. Again, to thicken the comparison, Gandalf is introduced as Gandalf the Grey. Ahsoka also dresses in gray. Gandalf is overwhelmed by a great trial and is assumed dead, very similar to something that happens to Ahsoka. They both return clad in a white cloak, hence Gandalf the White. Since Dave likes to adhere close to the lore of whatever he's making comparisons to, it's safe to assume that the presence of Ahsoka's gray cloak in Mando Season 2 indicates that she hasn't journeyed back to Lothal yet. Yet, as fun as this theory is with this kind of comparison, when connecting the dots, I think there's a lot more blatant details and a lot more blatant information to really make a theory off of, more so than the cloak theory. But the cloak theory is still fun. Ahsoka's journey in Mando Season 2 brings her to the planet Corvus in pursuit of a lead on Imperial Grand Admiral Thrawn. After besting the warlord Morgan Elsbeth in a battle, Ahsoka interrogates her about the Grand Admiral's whereabouts, and seeing how relaxed Ahsoka is after that scene, I think it's safe to say that she acquired the info she was looking for. It's very plausible that Ahsoka made contact with Hera afterwards, who put her in touch with Sabine. After a rendezvous on Lothal, the two embark on this journey together to find Thrawn and to get one step closer to bringing Ezra Bridger home. The wild card in this scenario is the inclusion of Ahsoka in the Book of Boba Fett, with Jon Favreau making an off-the-wall statement like Grogu had been with Luke for up to 2 years at this point. It definitely leaves us to wonder if this increases the amount of time between Mando Season 2 and the Rebels Epilogue. But the most blatant marker is hiding in plain sight. In the Rebels Epilogue, the scene centers on a slightly older Sabine Wren hanging out in Ezra's watchtower overlooking the Lothal capital city. Note the difference between the epilogue and the pilot episode. In the pilot, we see the cityscape dominated by the imposing Imperial Dome. In the epilogue, we see a sprawling metropolis with awe-inspiring towers erected after the fall of the Empire. The idea here is that it took some time to re-establish some planetary independence after the Empire was forced off the planet. Once the new government emerged, construction could finally begin. This is a process that takes a long time. This initiative had to have taken years, and so leaving plenty of room for the events of Mando Season 2 and even perhaps the Book of Boba Fett to happen before we get to this epilogue. And let's not forget, it takes some time for this little guy to grow. I'm very curious about your thoughts on this. Where do you think the Rebels Epilogue fits in the Star Wars timeline? I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you are overall enjoying all the Star Wars stuff we've been getting from Lucasfilm lately. As fans, we're eating very well here. There's so much to watch, so much content to read, and so much stuff to watch on YouTube, so thank you again for being here. I'd be very honored to have your subscription and like as well. So until next time, take care, God bless you, and may the Force be with you.